Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue Winter is Blooming, a Game of Thrones rewatch podcast by us, the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today is Season 5, Episode 2, The House of Black and White, written by D&D, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, and directed by Michael Slovis once again. He also did the Season 5 premiere. I am Colton Robertson, and I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? It was a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. Let me ask, did you feel like there was a certain upgrade in quality in this one as far as visual?
I was going to say the same thing. I was watching this on my TV and I'm like, man, I don't know if they upgraded the streaming service or like what, but it just looks so much more clear than I don't know, it was so much more vibrant and like,
it was a different vibe.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see, and like even from the first episode of this season, The Wars to Come, same director, same cinematographer.
There was something different.
They did something else, didn't they? Like this episode was so much better looking than the first one. I don't know what the hell happened there.
Maybe like they just upgraded the cameras. I don't know. Maybe new camera technology. What year is this? Like maybe 4K just came out or something.
Yeah, right.
Like I have no idea. But I'm glad I'm not crazy because I was like, there are a few things in this. I'm like, man, this episode looks good. And then like Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, like for some reason, I'm like, he just looks way like just sexier for some reason. Dude,
it's just hot the way. Like, and he's also like supposed to look hot as fuck in this one. That's true. Like that the way that girl's like, oh shit, that's Jamie fucking Lannister. Yeah. No, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
There was something different about it, and I really, really enjoyed the way this one looked. But I think it'll definitely fare better than the first one, despite there not being that much more that happens. You know, there were a couple things that are pretty big, and one thing in particular that makes me very, very happy. But regardless, if you are ready, I'm ready to dive on in.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I got the shirt on today. I got
the Jon Snow.
It's in there somewhere, the Lord Commander line. I don't know.
998th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
There somewhere, but
I once upon a time had the very same shirt.
But
we'll kick off this episode in Braavos, wherein Arya's sailor friend Turnesio Terrace, they arrive at Braavos. And Arya is at first scared by the horn blown by the man inside the Titan of Braavos, which is kind of kick-ass. It's kind of just like a watchtower, basically, just in the shape of a man. That's kind of baller. You know, the mythos around it, like they say that he'll step down and destroy our enemies, and then he blows into the horn, and she's like, "Oh fuck!" And he's like, "Yeah, I got your ass. I'm just kidding."
No. That's a sick way to just come into a city too. Like, I mean, just, if we're doing shots of the episode, I mean, that was probably it.
It's hard not to pick that.
Yeah.
There's some goodies in this one though, you know, especially like when we get to like, Dorne, the water gardens are fucking
so good.
But nevertheless, the two of them then arrive at the House of Black and White on a little boat, and Arya's like, "Oh, thanks a lot, man. That was real nice of you." And he's like, "Hey, literally any other person would have done it. You had the magic coin and you said the magic word." So
that's tight. Like, I don't think that exists anywhere on Earth. Like anything that, you know, like a whole country. If you just have one coin, it's no question about it. You just give transport to the House of the Black and White. Like, just you got to do it. It's just a duty.
It would be interesting if something like this does exist anywhere on Earth, because it would be like, how much of a secret it, and I'll always be interested in this as far as the Game of Thrones mythos is concerned. How much does everyone know about what goes on in the House of Black and White?
Because they worship the many-faced god, so it's like a religion, and I'm assuming like people in Braavos just
treated like a church,
and they probably know, like, if you want someone dead, you go to them, they get it done no matter what. So it might just be like a fear thing. It might just be like, oh shit, they had this, they killed people, they told us if anyone gives you this coin, you gotta bring them here.
That's true. Like we do eventually see people like coming in there to pray, like just people inside praying at altars and stuff. So
I guess it's just like, maybe it's a temple, like at first, but then like who knows how long what do you call the mini-face, like the no one, like, do they have it, just the mini-faced men? Faceless men, there you go. I knew there was something to it, but yeah, maybe like they weren't a thing forever, and that just was like a super old religion, and then they just took, I don't know, but it seems like it's like their headquarters and like a church at like the same time.
Yeah, no, it certainly holds a significance to, I mean, the entirety of Braavos, if this is something that any Braavosi man will do. But nevertheless, Arya lingers outside for a while waiting for admittance, but is rejected by an elderly man. Despite showing the coin Jaqen H'ghar had given her and mentioning their prior association, she's like, I'm looking for Jaqen H'ghar. And Jaqen H'ghar is like, there's nobody by that name here. And Arya's like, please let me in. I have nowhere else to go. And the man replies, you have anywhere else to go.
Just so mysterious. I love like this Arya. This is my favorite, maybe one of my favorite storylines in all of the show, is just the road Arya goes on down here, and she got my character nod just from the start of all of this. Like I absolutely love it, and like later on in the streets, like with the guys that we'll get to a little later, like she's coming into her own now. Like she's not afraid of anyone anymore. And yeah, I love, this is one of my favorite storylines for sure. And like I
love that. Now, you'd be somewhat alone in that, and a lot of the thing that ever made me want to start a podcast, period, the first podcast I ever listened to was a Game of Thrones podcast. And I was like, I've always wanted to be in radio, I've always wanted to do journalism, let's just do a podcast, that'd be fun as fuck. But the dudes who hosted that was Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, for anybody interested. They do a whole lot of shit.
What a name. Cool. That's awesome.
And it becomes relevant soon. It's what Arya yells when she's walking through the streets, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, and they remixed the song. It's Ross Bolin and Barrett, something. Regardless, this is not a storyline that they enjoyed a whole lot, or pretty much anyone who listened to it enjoyed a lot. It seemed like they accepted calls and everything. Or like, I don't know, I don't really dig it. Just takes forever. It takes too long. I disagree completely. I love this storyline. I think it's one that, it gains it gains something else once you know what she goes on to do.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, like, just the forging of her into a weapon is like super fucking cool to watch. I love training montages, and she basically just does like a season and a half long training montage. That's just all she does.
And it's just the mystery of it too. So much, like they don't really bother to explain a whole lot of it. It's just like you got to accept it. And I'd say like the Wall is probably like I enjoy the Wall like a lot more right now. Like just if anything's happened at the Wall with Jon, that's probably where I'm going right now. But this is probably number 2, like actually. And yeah, I don't know. It's just the mystery, the training of it. Like it's just like if I was put in Game of Thrones universe, this is where I'd want to go. Like I'd want to go over to Braavos and become just an absolute killing machine. And I don't know. I love Jaqen H'ghar, the little theme too, the little boom, boom, like the little soft, like I don't know what instrument that is, but I love everything about it.
I would say, I would definitely say that The Wall is where my favorite story is happening right now. Like season 5, because
it's mostly this, the Wall, and beyond with, the White Walkers and everything. Marine, pretty turbulent scene in Marine right now, and Dorne, and the way that affects King's Landing and the kind of back and forth that those have. And because this is also the season that brings us the rise of the High Sparrow. In fact, I think the next episode is called The High Sparrow.
It is indeed. Yeah.
So we're going to meet him here soon. So there's a lot that happens in this season that is critical to how this show takes shape in its final season. So it's kind of cool to see it take those first steps here. Most specifically in this episode, it's the first time Dany faces any sort of public scrutiny from the populace at large, which we see eventually she doesn't handle great. We see Arya start her steps towards Faceless Men. We see Jon ascend to the role of a leader. Like, there's all sorts of shit that we're getting the first little touches of, and I love that. But
realize this is Arya's first character nod, I think. I was scrolling through, and I don't know. Maybe I'm missing one, but I don't.
I think she's according to my sheet here, she's gotten 2.
Let's see, where am I? She's got a performance. I see. That was back in season 2. Let's see. Maybe
you gave her one in season 1, episode 3.
Tavares gave Arya one.
And I gave her one in season 2, episode 5.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
So this is her second. I think she's still. But she might still be looking for a performance nod. No, we gave her one at some point, but regardless, she's.
I was just wrong about that.
No, but she's been getting she's only gotten 2 character nods and 1 performance nod. So Arya Stark and Maisie Williams in that role has gotten exceedingly little recognition on our show so far, because this is when she really starts to come into her own and become more prominent. She's kind of just been making her way so far, but this is when the whole I know she's had storylines dedicated to her, but she's been connected to all these like massive characters at different points. She was with Tywin for like an entire fucking season, the Hound and Brienne and all this, and now basically she's the focal point for her storyline, and I really appreciate that. Arya waits outside the house for what seems like days. She just kind of sits there reciting the names of the people she's going to kill, which has been condensed. She is under the impression that the Hound is dead, so
or was he even going to be on her list anymore? Whenever, did she still want to kill him? Like, after what all they've been through, I thought there was a line that the Hound was like, "Aren't I on your little list?" or whatever, and then Arya was, I don't know, maybe there wasn't.
He says that as he's dying, supposedly. He's like, "No, go ahead, another name off your little list."
That's right.
And she just doesn't respond. So I think she's either given up on the idea of killing the Hound because she doesn't want to, or because he was in a pretty bad way last she saw. She's expecting that man's probably dead already. But it's become Cersei, Mountain, Meryn Trant, and who else? There's one more.
Ilyn Payne.
Okay. Yeah. We are not far off from some of those,
because the Mountain, that's by the Hound himself, right? Yes. On the stairs.
Well, he's basically a zombie at this point. He's basically already dead.
Yeah, true.
Just a walking corpse. But
Meryn Trant and
I've built up the Meryn Trant death for you for a couple seasons, and if you can't remember how, it's one of my favorites.
I'm still blank. Yeah, I'm
dude.
still blank.
Yeah, we're not. I don't think we're far off from that now. It's either this season or next. She eventually gives up, tosses away the coin into the water, and wanders the streets of Braavos. And while hunting for pigeons, which she quite deftly just slices one's head off.
Very cleanly.
She's like, "Dope, gonna cook me a bird tonight, here across the narrow sea, living my life." doing stuff that I don't really want to be doing, but hey, I'm here. Got to do what I got to do.
Put the pigeon in the kill list, by the way. An official kill. An official kill here. Still no Hodors this season, but we do have, I guess, one kill.
We will not get a Hodor this season, as Bran Stark is not in this season.
Wow. Yeah. Yep. Okay, well, I might as well just put zeros in there. Might as well just black out this season there, but yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, no Bran, I don't think, for this entire season. Yeah, because it's season 6 that they come back around. But
okay, that's right.
Yeah, there will not be a single Hodor in season 5, which really puts a damper on that counter. We're gonna have a tough time with that one.
We'll get a lot when it comes to the episode.
They'll make up for an entire season's worth, I'm sure, at some point. But yeah, it's when she kills this pigeon, she encounters several young dudes who threaten to take her food and her sword that can go for quite a pretty penny, as they say. And she's like, all right, come get it. We were very close to getting a few more kills, methinks. But
this almost a line there too, where she was like, it's not worth anything to dead men, or like something. Something
bars.
Like, oh my god, yeah, she's
real proud of herself whenever they like get scared and run away, and she's like, yeah, that's what I thought. And then she turns, and the dude from the House of Black and White's like, come on now, you got this. Tosses her the coin and is like, think you forgot this.
So like, is it the robe that they recognize as like a faceless man, and that's why they run off, or like, do they know that face?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I think, I'm guessing that's the face they know, which makes me think that they don't know exactly what the House of Black and White is about. Because if that's the face that he goes out in public in, and they see and are like, oh, okay, never mind, we don't fuck with that. Maybe there's like a mythos around this guy and through the streets of Braavos,
just Braavosian killer.
Well, furthermore, if there's been like a head of the House of Black and White, the way we'll call him Jaqen H'ghar, even though that's not his name, like Jaqen is now, how long have these faces stayed within the House of Black and White? Like, what if this face is the face of a man who's appeared for hundreds of years on Braavos? Then you go, okay, no, I don't fuck with that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Because they saw him instantly jetted. They were like, no, out of here. That makes sense. No, if it's just like this dude just doesn't seem to die, and he just kills anyone that he wants. So yeah, we're running. I'm
always intrigued by it, and this season is going to bring us a lot of fun speculation about the House of Black and White. So I'm very, very excited about it. But Arya demands of the man to divulge his identity, and he returns her the coin she threw in the water, and he peels off his face and reveals the man Arya knew as Jaqen. And she goes, so you are Jaqen H'ghar. What the fuck, man? And he's like, a man is not Jaqen H'ghar. And Arya's like, then who the fuck are you? And this is my line of the episode. No one. And that is what a girl must become.
God, it's so cool. It's just everything about this story. I don't know how people don't like it. Like, what? Like, I guess it is a little slow. Sure, maybe.
Like, it takes a while. She does this for 2 seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't become
I love a slow burn, bro. I don't care. I like a slow burn.
No, it's like kind of like a 36 chamber Shaolin kind of training mod. You slowly climb up. You're not just a master or just like an assassin.
You don't just join the 35th chamber. You don't just all of a sudden gain these force abilities or whatever the fuck they were cooking with up there.
Yeah. You gotta work it.
You got it.
But yeah, I don't know, the House of Black and White itself, like just how like centered it was, and like how Arya, like just the shots when Arya was in front of it just looked so good too. And then like the like slow sweep across of like Jaqen peeling his face off, and like he peels it off right when it's behind Arya, and like it was sick. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how people don't like this. I love everything about this storyline. Like, just Jaqen or no one, if you want to call him that, is just probably one of the coolest characters in the entire show for me. Like, just most intriguing.
Absolutely.
Like, he's just so mysterious. But yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at the like soundtrack covers because I knew that one of them is like a Faceless Men reference. And it caught my eye for the first time. One of the faces on the covers is Pedro Pascal, who hasn't been in the show for like 2 seasons, and that's the season 6 cover. The other ones are Jon, Daenerys, Robb Stark, Sansa Stark, and Cersei, and then they've just got fucking Oberyn Martell right there in the middle, which I think is fucking hilarious. That they're like, yeah, he made his fucking impact. Everybody wants some more Oberyn Martell.
Yeah.
That was probably fuel for the Reddit boards too. Like because season 6 was the first one that was off book, and they put the soundtrack out at the beginning of the season or something, and they've got Pedro Pascal on it, and they're like, oh shit, are the Faceless Men about to fuck it? Doesn't have anything to do with it, which is hilarious. But sorry, a little tangent there. But that concludes the story in Bravos for now. We will return quite frequently over the next couple seasons, but we are next in the Flatlands, further south, where Tyrion and Varys are departing from Pentos in a large wheelhouse pulled by many horses. And Tyrion remains quite despondent, as he promised he would be, continuing to drink himself to death. And there's a bunch, like, anytime Varys and Tyrion are interacting, there's just a fuck ton of lines that are being traded that are fucking fantastic.
Yeah. You might consume some solid food at one point.
There's a
maybe.
bug. Yeah.
Like
there's a bug. Well, God forbid you eat. But he's like, am I not doing what I told you I would do? That whole interaction. I was
gonna do, dude. Yeah. They're so good. So good.
He's
together.
like, where are we even going, bro? He's like, we're going here. He's like, but I thought we were going to Marine. What's there? The road to Marine. And Varys points out that Tyrion, he starts being complimentary. He's trying to boost him up a little bit, get him back into the swing of things. He's like, you were an effective ruler, He's like, no, I was just some fucking guy, I was still a servant. And he's like, nah, you were good at it though, even so. And Tyrion gets real sad thinking back to Shay, talking about how, she asked me to leave and I didn't want to. I liked it too much. I liked the power.
Yeah. And
they
even
they
as
enjoy.
a servant, it was like, it was nice here. I don't know. He did well like that. And like, even Varys brings up, like, as Hand, like, how well he did as Hand for, like, the short time he had it. He was like, yeah, you kind of kick ass at doing that, man. He's like, whatever, it was just, I was just doing my thing.
He's real down, there's not a lot you can say to this guy to make him not feel bad about himself right now. But, they talk about how they enjoyed accumulating power, but they also wall themselves off from people, like hiding inside of a large carriage as they are now. But deep down, they were never satisfied being separate from society, and having some sort of power makes them feel like they've got it down. And Tyrion he's not, he's still despondent. He's still fucked up, and he continues to insist that he's tired of being confined in this box. And Varys again warns him that he must remain hidden because Cersei has promised a lordship to any man who brings her his head. And he responds, she should offer her cunt, the best part of her for the best part of me.
Thank you for saying it for me. I was still a little iffy on it, but yeah, that's my line for the episode. I was literally, while watching, taking a sip of water, and it got me to spit take. It got me to actually spit. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it, and it was more of like a shock and a laugh kind of at the same time.
It's such a strong word, and I know that it's like used all the time in this show, but it's I feel like it'd been a little
like
bit.
The Hound. If it's from the Hound, it's expected completely. I don't know. Like, that's just his normal vocabulary. But Tyrion, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of rare that he says that. But yeah, I thought it was just hilarious, and it got me to spit out my water. So I put it immediately down as my line.
Yeah, she should offer her cunt, the best part of her for the best part of me. But Tyrion scoffs and rhetorically asks if Cersei is going to kill every dwarf in the world in the hope of eventually catching him. And that is when we smash cut to the severed head of yet another dwarf in the Crownlands. And her offer of a lordship for Tyrion's head has indeed motivated people to start killing any dwarf they can find and try to pass it off as Tyrion, even having carved a scar on his face, likely after they killed him. I love the idea that these dudes are like, yo, what if she doesn't know what her brother looks like?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like a dead head, you know, it's like maybe after you die, you look a little different. She just won't think about it and she'll just want her brother to be dead so bad that she'll be like, yeah, definitely, for sure. But yeah, no, it's not like she's just literally seen him his entire life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, yeah, you know, she won't recognize, no.
Cersei's like, are y'all fucking kidding me? And they're like, I'm sorry, ma'am. And everyone's ready to, like, everyone in the room besides them is ready to kill these guys for trying to, you know, pull a fast one on the queen. And Cersei is like, don't, I don't want anybody to be afraid to keep bringing me heads, you know, kill as many as people will die. That's just how these things work.
Collateral damage, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, boom. Get rid of it. And Qyburn's like, if I may, ma'am, I would like to experiment upon the head as much as I possibly can. It could be good for some of my experiments. At many points throughout the show, I wonder if we could watch him like take enough body parts at some point to like build his own human, you know? Like, I wonder if that's where he's like, if that's what he's trying to cook, you know?
Yeah. Just as another zombie, sort of the mountain, but with a dwarf head. And
like, he's Dr. Frankenstein in this hoe. He's just trying to sew it onto a body and put a few bolts in the neck and like bring it to life.
Yeah, I guess no. I was thinking he had part of Jaime's arm, but Jaime was like, "Nah, you're not taking any more. Like, you're going to carterize this instead of." I thought he had
one
like
hand,
maybe.
That's one hand.
Did he have the hand?
Yeah, I think he did. Oh no, he could. Yeah, because it was tied around his neck at some point, and he walked back into camp with it. But I imagine by the time it got to Qyburn, it was rather fucked.
True. Yeah. I don't know. Qyburn's a special dude, though. He can. Yeah. He's got to figure.
I actually, as despicable and disgusting as these two are, I absolutely adore that Cersei and Qyburn found like their buddy. You know, like they're like, yeah, this is my dude. You know, like he's almost as sick and sadistic as I am. You know, sort of shit.
Yeah, you don't get kicked out of being a maester at King's Landing if you do this shit. Like, I guess while Cersei's around, you know, it's like, could be useful. You know, I think that's kind of maybe the only part of Westeros or Essos that Qyburn can really do his thing. Yeah, they found their pair. You know, they work well together.
They certainly do.
They're both just a little fucked up, but yeah.
Yeah, but we then head to Cersei summoning Jaime. Jaime walks in all, fuck yeah, here we go. Got a summons from the queen. What's up, ma'am? And she's like, check this shit out. Unveils a gift from Dorne, an ornately carved viper with Princess Myrcella's unique Lannister pendant suspended from its fangs.
How many times do you think it took to get that shot of the box opening? There's a little piece of trivia in here that they just so that they could all fall at the same time. Apparently, maybe on one stayed up.
Yeah, it kind of like unfolds.
Yeah,
like that Grand Budapest Hotel box. I assume quite a great deal.
Took them 15 times just to get that. Yeah, I guess
that's funny.
I didn't think about it while watching. And then I guess you want it to look.
You want it to look satisfying.
All uniform and scary. I don't know. Nice, but
Michael Slovis, a bit of a perfectionist, it would seem. I like it, though. I like it. It paid off. Didn't even notice, you know? It probably would have bothered me if they didn't all fall at the same time, you know? I probably would have stood out and I'd have been like, that doesn't feel right. They should have gotten it to fall at the same time, you know? So, hats off to you. I'm going to give you some respect on that, Mr. Slovis.
Last threat, though, as well. This is like
super cool. Sick. I also love that Jaime's like, this is a threat. And Cersei's like,
no
fucking
shit.
duh. Yeah.
Did you already know what was in the box? Does she open it before and then close it back up for Jaime to open together? I didn't even think about that. How'd she know what was in there? Yes, so I guess she opened it.
Made it all nice and neat for the reveal. That's all. That's
one
hilarious.
For the theatrics. Okay. But yeah, it was Jaime's like, oh my god, they're threatening our daughter. Like, yeah, no shit, Jaime. Like, what else do you think that could be? And, we were talking about how, like, vulnerable the Lannisters are because just Tywin's not there. And then literally next episode, boom, your daughter. Like, we're
gonna kill you. We're gonna kill everything you love. And this scene, it's pretty hard not to give Lena Headey the performance nod. If
I did.
Yeah, I did too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, it just stood out, and it was like, wow, no, she's so Cersei. Like, it's just uncanny how well she can get into character here. And
if we both give Lena Headey the performance that ties her for the lead with Tyrion, Peter Dinklage, in performance, and she's deserving, man. Like, this is, she's fucking good, dog. Like, the passion, the intensity, the fire behind her eyes. You'd think they were threatening her daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the vibe she's bringing.
Probably from this scene alone, she gets it. But then even like in the small council as well.
The small council is when it's just like fucking duh. Yeah, like there's no doubt. But Cersei lashes out at Jaime for him being like, shh, you can't yell that it's our son. You can't yell that it's our kid. Okay, that's our kids would be stoned in the street for that. And she becomes quite incessant that. Well, you've never been a father to any of the kids anyway, so fuck you. And he's like, if I had, they'd been stoned in the streets. And she's like, fuck you. And he declares that he will fix the situation. He's like, I'm going to get this shit done. And so she's like, oh yeah, you, Mr. One Hand Man.
Yeah. At first, like, you're going to take an army, you're going to commit an act of war to get our daughter? No. I'm gonna go to Dorne myself, I'm just gonna go and get her. He's like, okay, for real? I don't think so. I know. I knew he's going with Bronn, but it was nice just for him to have, like, he doesn't really get a lot of cuts at Cersei at all, like Jaime. Like, It's usually Cersei always winning every single conversation, but I know he just walked out at the end there, just like, whoever said I was going alone?
I got this.
Badass swordsman with him.
I like to think about what Cersei's like response to that is, like, if they were to cut back to her. Like, there's a couple moments with Jaime here in this episode where I remember being like, they cut away right before what could potentially be the funniest part of the interaction. Where Cersei, like, if Cersei was to respond here, and then in the next scene when they're at Castle Stokeworth with Bronn spending his time with the somewhat vapid betrothed Lawless Stokeworth. They seem to be getting on pretty nicely, but Lawless reminds Bronn that her older sister will get the castle when their mother dies, and he's like, your sister's mean and you're nice, and mean people always get what's coming to them. And he, like, looks off in the distance and he goes, one way or another. He's like, I'm going to kill your sister at some point, so you don't have anything to worry about.
She's got no clue. Like, she's just, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, bad things always. Yeah, sure. That sounds nice. Maybe
she's like smiley. She's like, maybe one day.
But your sister's a real dick, though. Sounds like it. I don't know.
Yeah,
at least to her. I mean, that's it.
Dude.
Maybe, pulling her hair. I forgot what else she said that she did.
They're grown fucking women, though. That's what's hilarious. Is that, like, you gotta be a real piece of shit adult to do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, there is, like, I don't know what age it is, but there is, like, you hate your siblings just because
one morning you wake up and you go, this motherfucker's all right. Like, I kind of fuck with you, dog.
Yeah. I don't know when that was, but.
No, it happens, though. And at some point you just go, like, you're fighting with a sibling, and then, like, the next day you're about to fight, and then you're like, you know what? Nah, I don't think it's worth all that.
Yeah.
Happens to all of us, or I hope it does. But it's at this point that they look ahead and find Jaime. And Lawless is like, "Who's that?" And Bronn's like, "Jaime fucking Lannister." And
I feel like there's a line that's sort of like that, not in this show, but like, Jaime fucking Lannister. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it reminded me of some other line of someone else, like, and they say first name fucking last name, just like Bronn did, and for the life of me, I can't get it. I don't know. Maybe it'll hit.
All I can think of is it's the fucking Catalina wine mixer. That's all I thought of.
Not what I was thinking. But yeah, man, it could just be from like a TikTok or something stupid too. Maybe not even a movie or TV show, but man, I don't know. Just like the inflection in his voice,
though. It's like, ringing a bell.
Lannister. Like it. I don't know. I'll have to move on. It might hit me at some point, but
right. Yeah, he sees them and he gives Bronn some shit, and Bronn's like, "How about Lawless is taken by Jaime quite quickly, immediately quite attracted to him, and Bronn's like, how about you run on up to the castle, love? How about you do that, okay?" And
Bronn was like, "Yeah, you are looking extra sexy with this clear ass camera that we got now, or whatever."
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like, you're looking extra crisp today. That jawline's a little different than it was yesterday. It sends Lawless running off, and Jaime hands to Bronn. I love the interaction too. Bronn's like, "What's this fucking visit for?" And he's like, "What?" And he's like, anytime any of you fucking Lannisters want to come talk to me, it's for something. Y'all don't just want to say hi, okay? What do you need?" And he reveals that Cersei has reneged on her deal and offered Lawless's hand to Sir Willis Bracken. And he's like, "What the fuck, man? I don't like this." And Jaime's like, "Don't worry. When we get back, I'll have a better girl and a better castle for you." And he's like, "When we get back, where are we going?" And this is the part where I think is super funny, where they cut. Jaime goes, as far south as south goes. And then they cut away. And I like to imagine Bronn being like, "So where the fuck are we going?"
Well, that didn't explain anything at all.
Jaime was feeling himself this episode. He was like, "I got everything figured out." And like all he needs to do is say some like semi-dumb shit that nobody knows how to respond to. You know what I'm saying? And that's how he gets away with it all.
And Bronn said he's probably like, "Dorne, okay, I get, like, sure, but like that's still very vague, like maybe some more details would be nice."
Yeah, like Dorne. It's like telling somebody we're gonna go to King's Landing. Look at how big this fucking city is, guys. Like, like where, but nevertheless, with that issue dealt with, Cersei convenes the small council, and she immediately heads for the hand seat. And everyone just kind of like looks at her like, but I don't, and she's like, "Well, you see, my son's real young. He's not old enough to select a hand himself, so I'm just going to go ahead and sit here until he's old enough to choose." And they're like, "But," and she's like, I know, a woman could never be hand. Of course. I'm not the hand. I'm just sitting here. And I love the energy emanating off of her, where she's like, "There's nothing any of you can do about it."
Oh yeah,
absolutely adore it. But she's like, "Yep, the king, in all his graciousness, has declared Qyburn the new master of whisperers, and that the position of the hand of the king will remain vacant until he's old enough to decide." And Pycelle is quite unhappy with Qyburn being elected to this position.
"This embarrassment to the citadel and the
this will not stand." He's a pussy. He's a piece of shit. And then Mace Tyrell speaks up. He's like, "I don't know how I feel about this."
I could be the hand. I could do that, maybe.
Yeah. I love that all of them are like, "Well, you see, many maesters have been hands in the past." And Mace is like, well, I could be. And Cersei's like, shut the fuck up, Mace. The king's also decided that you're going to be master of coin. Along with master of ships, you're so good with money. So
he sits
there you
up.
go.
Oh, wow.
It would be my honor, your grace.
Shit, I got 2 positions now.
Yeah, I'm the double master. But then she moves on to her uncle, Kevin, which she has declared the master of war, which is the first time we've heard of a master of war. There's never been one. And I'm kind of shocked that nobody on the council pointed that out. Nobody was like, excuse me, what's that? You know, I know it kind of speaks for itself, master of war, but
that's true.
You know, that's never been a position.
Yeah, I guess maybe just Tywin, just who else, you know, he's the hand, but who else is going to dictate any war moves if it's not Tywin? So, like, maybe there's just really no need, I guess. Yeah,
right, yeah. She's really like, you're the commander of our armies already. So we're going to just give you a new title to go along with that, which I think is kind of bizarre, you know? Like, she's just, I love that, like, it's purely Cersei making moves out here. Like, Tommen didn't decide a single one of these things.
Oh, yeah. No. And he's very busy at the moment right now. Who knows what he's doing, but Cersei's like, yeah, he's very busy. He can't be here, obviously. Like,
he's just sitting up in his room with Sir Pounce thinking about his betrothed.
Sir Pounce. Yeah, he's just daydreaming about Marjorie the whole time. He's like,
yeah, he's just sitting in there. He's like, man, everything's gonna be okay. But Kevin is quite disgusted at Cersei's blatant power play here. She's like, you know what? I would love to be the master of war. I would love it. I would like if Tommen told me that. And Cersei's like, he told me that I can tell you. And he's like, nah, you're nothing more than the Queen Mother. You'll never be anything more. So deuces. Bye, everybody. And he walks out saying he will await King Tommen's own instructions at Casterly Rock.
Mm-hmm. If that's anyone other than her uncle, I don't think they live longer than a couple days. Or maybe a couple hours, even.
I think there's a decent chance this guy dies anyway.
Yeah.
Even being her uncle.
I just love that his name's Kevin. Of all names in Game of Thrones, like just Kevin. I mean, it's spelled a little differently, I guess. Yeah, with an A, you're not an I, you know. But maybe that is a normal spelling of Kevin. I've just never seen it spelled that way.
Yeah, you know, he actually, I think he lasts until, I think he's at the Sept whenever Cersei makes it go kaboom.
Okay.
Because his son is Lancel.
Yep, he's killed in the destruction of the Great Sept.
Boom.
Cersei's arrested. When she's arrested, Kevin returns to King's Landing and is appointed hand of king by Grand Viceroy. Wow, okay. For a brief moment, and then kaboom.
Yeah, then he's done for. So yeah, he's hand for all of season 6.
Wow. Okay. I guess a little longer than I thought actually. Not just like he became hand and then boom. For a whole season. He's doing all right.
Just shows you how irrelevant everyone was besides the High Sparrow for that entire season.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't
the High Sparrow was ruling. Tommen was his hand, and the hand to Tommen was just completely irrelevant at that point. But we will next head.
But
we're going to head next to the Water Gardens. We're at
a real place. Like, is this a real location? Because my God, I want to go.
Let's see. Where was Dorne filmed? What are the Water Gardens of Dorne? What's going on? Yeah, but the kind of establishing.
Yeah. Wow. Or maybe that's like filmed in the real Alcazar de Sevilla. I don't know where that is. It sounds Spanish though, and that makes sense for Dorne and everything. It's just a royal palace in Spain. Okay, it's in Spain.
Okay,
wow, there we go.
I was going to be my guess. The architecture kind of resembles Spain, I feel like, but nevertheless, the kind of establishing shot of Arya, like up in the window.
Yeah,
that was hard.
The Viper chain, bracelet, and then it went down her finger. That was tough.
Dope. Yeah. And she's watching with great intent at Trystane and Myrcella, who seem quite smitten with each other. This arranged marriage has worked out better than either of them could have ever hoped. Mm-hmm. It's a shame that their families are at each other's throats. Little Romeo and Juliet storyline that probably could have been its own fucking show, which is kind of crazy. Like, in a different world, this would be the main conflict of a story, and this is actually just a small part of a much larger story here, which is hilarious. That's just how massive this show is. But Ilaria is demanding an audience with Doran Martell, the ruling prince of Dorne, and his bodyguard blocks her path. Doran tells him to let her pass. She's like, so I'm wanting to take Princess Myrcella, so that I can, send her piece by piece back to Cersei as revenge for the murder of my husband. Yep. And Doran's like, your husband was not murdered. It was a trial by combat. He knew what he was getting into. I don't like it, but I mean, what are we going to do? It was completely legal and not murder. And he states Dorne will not stoop to the level of mutilating children while he rules. I like the Martell family. They've got some fucking morals on them. Pretty easy and low stake morals, you would think, in a normal world.
Not in this one.
They seem to be the only people besides the Starks who are not willing to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at least in Westeros. Well, I don't know. Essos kind of fucked up too, actually.
Essos feels like it's just like, it's not even families. It's just people. They're just trying to live, like it's like the Iron Bank and then everybody else. Like, that's all there is. But
I don't know. What's his Doran? Yeah, he almost got my character just for how stoic.
Oh yeah.
How he was if it weren't for Arya. I mean, and maybe Jon, and maybe there are a few a couple
good options here.
Maybe get characters, but
yeah, we got a lot of locations in this one. I don't even 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh
8,
wow,
which might be our most yet. But
we were jumping around. Oh yeah,
jump up and get down. Yeah, it's there's a lot going on, and but yeah, Duran's like, we're not going to do that. And Ilaria's like, the sand stakes are on my side, believe it or not. Mine and Oberyn's kids. Duh. I don't know. Yeah. Of course they're on your side.
They're listening.
And my dog is going to town upstairs. Really, really barking, going nuts up there. Man, sorry.
I could barely hear
hard to focus. I can hear it very clearly. But Ilaria is asking how long he expects to rule, if this is the approach he's going to take.
That was kind of a threat there. I mean,
big time. Big time.
Obviously, maybe a no shit. Obviously, a threat. She walks out very angrily, saying, "How long? How long are you going to rule?" But he just kind of took it as all right, whatever. I'm going to sit here and take in the scenery and everything.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Beautiful location there.
Yeah, he looks over at his bodyguard and they exchange a look and they're like, well, that might be something we have to deal with. He holds his axe a little bit and he's like, nah, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. She's all talk. She is not all talk.
No, she's not.
We are next in the Vale of the Arryn, where Brienne and Podrick arrive at an inn and dine. And Podrick's like, oh, fuck. He looks up, he sees Peter, and then he watches Sansa lean out of a booth, and he's like, oh yeah, that's definitely her. She's dyed her hair, but that's definitely Sansa. I've looked at Sansa a lot. He was also macking hard on the waitress. Sex
that's
got
true.
pod.
Yeah, that is true. That waitress she didn't know what she could have got into, but
she didn't even know the pleasures that awaited.
Yeah,
had she taken the opportunity. But yeah, had he not been macking on the waitress and watching her every move, he would not have followed her to the table in which Peter Baelish was sitting.
That's true.
And duty above love for Podrick here. He's like, I could get it in, but Peter Baelish is sitting over there, and so is Sansa. So I better tell.
That's probably pertinent. Yeah, that's probably important information here.
Yeah, it's probably the more important thing. But Brienne's like, oh yeah. Go ready the horses. We have one horse, milady. Go get a few more horses then. And then she gets up and he's like, fucking okay, I guess I'll figure that out. And Brienne walks right on over. No tact to this choice. Just kind of, I'm going to talk to Sansa and Sansa will get it.
Yeah, and even last episode, I was like, I wonder if Sansa was given the question if she would go with Brienne, and then literally we get it right here in this episode.
Yeah. She kneels and is like, I swear my life to you, I will die for you. Coming on a little strong, for anybody's taste, I think.
Yeah.
And Littlefinger's like, oh yeah, this one. I remember you. Met you at Renly Baratheon's camp. He's dead. You were accused of murdering him. And she's like, I didn't. A shadow with the face of Stannis Baratheon did. And they're like, okay, Brienne. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Oh, weren't you also tasked with protecting, I don't know, like Sansa's mom? And then you didn't really do a good job there either.
So Renly's dead. Cat's dead.
Yeah.
And you want to protect Sansa. You don't have the best track record, Brienne. And she's like, hey man, it is what it is. Sansa, you can come with me or you cannot. And she goes, nah. Like how simple it was too. She goes, no.
Yeah, you can leave, actually. She's like, bye. I don't really care. And then Littlefinger's the one that's like, oh no, maybe you should stay, actually.
Yeah.
Probably to turn her in, and get a pretty penny for it. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was just I didn't know that this happened again, or else I would have, I thought like, yeah, they're so close, like they're always so close, but they never actually get, see each other, and then
but then they literally see each other the first things first the next episode. Pretty funny, but yeah, Brienne's like, all right, I'll stick around, and then she just punches somebody in like bolts. And she escapes, and Podrick's like, what's going on? She's like, hop on a fucking horse, Pod. We got places to be.
Breaks the thing that the horse are tied to. There's probably a name for that, but like horse rack, but like bike rack. I don't know.
Yeah, bike rack. I get it.
Breaks that shit and just runs, and like kind of sick, like a horse chase. It's kind of like the medieval equivalent of a car chase. And I was like, it's actually kind of sick here. Like
riding through the woods. Through the forest as Brienne fights men on horseback with the fucking sword. And Podrick, I was like, I feel like there's something where Podrick does not know how to ride a horse and he like rides off into a different, and then that absolutely happens and they arrive at some sort of little lake and he gets tossed. He gets tossed off the horse. And reuniting, Podrick's like, hey, I also love when Podrick like chucked the rock at the dude and like completely missed. And he's like, I take it you're unarmed then.
Thank God for Brienne coming back here, or else Pod, that was probably the end of Pod right there. But yeah, just Pod, get down, and then just Brienne going off.
Yeah, goes ham.
Mm-hmm.
But Podrick's like, Brienne, I love you, dude. But Arya said no, and Sansa said no. You might hear me out. If you don't like it,
in here.
You don't like it, send it right back. You might not have to stick to the vow anymore. That might be it. And she's like, nope, we're gonna follow them. And he's like, but my lady, she goes, she's with Littlefinger. Is she safe? And Podrick's like, no, she's not with Littlefinger. And they're like, all right, well then let's ride. And thus concludes the story in the Vale.
Mm-hmm.
But we will then head across the narrow sea once more to Meereen, wherein Daario and Grey Worm are on the hunt for a son of the Harpy. And I love Daario kind of like talking shit to Grey Worm, who's like incapable of talking shit. And he's like, the Unsullied, man, y'all do not blend in. Y'all stick out in the fucking crowd. Have you caught a Son of the Harpy? No, that makes sense because they know exactly who you are. My guys, on the other hand, we blend in. We listen to the whispers. We hear everything.
We fuck. We do whatever the hell we want, and
we whore. We drink. Yeah. And he's like, and that led us here. And I like that he like perfectly times like everything. Like he's so fucking good. Dario might be my favorite character of the episode. He had very little to do, but he was awesome in his little bits.
This was sick. This was sick. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, check this out. We're here. And then they walk in and there's nothing. I love the way Grey Worm's like posted with the spear and there's like nothing in sight. Dario's just kind of standing there and he's like, there's nothing. We leave. And Dario's like, you're scared. He's like, I'm not scared. Unsullied fear nothing. And he's like, exactly. I love that he's like setting him up at every turn. He's like, on the money, my friend. Of course you're not afraid of anything. And you know what happens when you're not afraid of anything? You forget how to hide. And then he just stabs a wall. And a man falls out of a wall. How long you been there, friend?
It made Dario look badass, but like when you start to think of it, it's like, how do you really know he was right there in that wall? Like, did the guy he took in an alley and broke a few fingers like tell him like, all right, this is where this dude lives. He's gonna be right behind the bookshelf, behind the wall. It's really thin. You could probably stab
if like you pull the bookshelf out, if like it's like a door, like the wall opens as well.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking of logistics of how long the man's been in the wall and how he got there. Has he just been like he like killed White Rat and then he was like, gotta go hide in my wall.
Gotta hide forever. Yep, can't come out anymore.
It's a good thing I've got food in there.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. And maybe they saw the Unsullied coming, and it's like they're
patrolling
the streets and he's like, all right, gotta go hide now.
But
not from Dario though.
Like I was like, see, check this shit out. Got you. And back at the Great Pyramid, Daenerys and her council debate upon executing the Harpy's son. But the debate devolves into a shouting match between Massador and Hizdar zo Loraq, where Massador's like, yeah, so we could give him a trial. I'll let you know that means nothing to these people. They do not give a fuck. All they know is strength, so you ought to just kill the guy. And Hizdar zo Loraq is like, what do you mean these people? I don't know this, and I'm these people. I don't know what you're talking about. And so it devolves into nothing but that, and thus everyone's dismissed. Daenerys is like, everyone shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out. I'll decide. And after the rest leave, Sir Barristan stays behind.
This was almost a scene here.
Sir Barristan is actually getting my character nod for this.
Is that the first for him?
It is his first. This is a first Sir Barristan.
First here. Okay, that's awesome. No, this was sick. Yeah.
He's like, I would like to talk to you about your father, the Mad King. And she's like, the Mad King, you're here to tell me my enemy's lies. And he's like, ma'am, I served with your father from the beginning of his reign. I promise your enemies are not lying. He went crazy, he burned people to the ground. He destroyed houses. He did all this. And it was because he dealt justice the way he saw fit. And that all that led to a rebellion that destroyed the Targaryens, all but 2. And
little
Daenerys
like, yeah, I mean, he's still right. There are still 2 living.
Technically.
He wasn't thinking of Aegon, that's for sure.
No, I'm thinking of Viserys.
Glad he's gone too. He probably would have been a man.
Oh yeah, he'd have been. I think he'd have been every bit as bad as his dad for sure.
Like the Joffrey.
Joffrey of the Targaryens, to be sure. But yeah, like all this kind of makes this is the first time Daenerys is hearing this truth about her dad. Like I've forgotten that she'd been under the impression that her dad was a good dude. and their enemies rose up and fought him for no fucking reason. Which again, kind of reframes some stuff, knowing that she did not know that until very recently, you know?
Yeah, she's like, I'm not my father though. And I love like Selmy just being like, thank the gods you're not. Like he was like, yeah, I know you're not. Like just
and I'm so glad you aren't, because that would suck and I would not be here. But she's, you know, a bit taken aback by the revelation, because she trusts Barristan completely. If Barristan's saying it's the case, you know? And
no better source of information there. I mean, he was right there, saw it all. Like, that's eesh. I mean, it's probably traumatizing for him just to see all those people like, oh my god, just
to have to unquestion, like he was the leader of the Kingsguard. Who knows how many people he brought before the Mad King and sentenced to death? You know, like
damn,
he's probably been through some shit. I love me some Barristan. He's loyal to a fault, you know. But Daenerys, having heard all this, promises Sir Barristan that there will be a trial for the accused. And I love that Barristan was counseling that the whole time, even during the argument. He's like, give him a trial, you know, just be fair. Do not be like the people who came before. Just do you, okay? And so it was in an episode with a lot of really strong performances. I don't feel like a character particularly like jumped off the screen as like an obvious pick. So I went with Barristan. I felt like that was a good one.
I like that. I think he really changed her mind. I don't know. Maybe Daenerys was thinking about just killing him. Like before.
She was. I think that's what she was settled on.
Yeah.
And that actually would have worked out better for her.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. Before the trial begins, Massador visits the son of the Harpy and is like, I'm gonna kill your ass. Goes ahead, kills the guy, hangs him in the streets for everybody to see with a kill the masters signage, you know, like a little signature.
Little Banksy. Like
a little kill the masters, here's a dead guy. And that's now that's punishable by death. Got to question the logic on this one.
Yeah, that's true. No trial there, you know, at all. Like
bad move. And for it to be a public execution, an even worse move. Yeah. I don't know, dog. What a fucking idiotic choice to make. I love Dany, but wow. I understand that it's like he directly disobeyed what she said. She has to make an example. Was the son of the Harpy killing one of your soldiers not directly disobeying you? You know, like.
That's true. Yeah,
I'm bewildered by the choice here. I feel like she's inviting chaos in this situation. Where was Barristan to be like, hey, how about a trial for this guy? You know, like, I don't know. I guess this one is a more direct betrayal. He was in the room when she decided what she was going to do, and he directly disobeyed that plan of action. So I get it. You're a queen. You got to do queen shit, but you're about to cause a civil war.
Yeah, literally.
You know,
then and there.
She brings, immediately, like, brings him before the public, you know, she's like, everyone's chanting, Misa, Misa, yes, my queen, my mom, I love you. And she stands before everybody, and she brings Massador out, and everybody's like, brother, yes, we love you. You rock. You're my man. And she's like, kill him. Everyone's begging, mercy.
Yeah, Still going through with it though. She's like, fuck it. Public opinion.
She's a queen.
Who gives a shit?
She's a queen. She's got to stand by her choices. I do like one of the little details that I enjoy is that Dario is her headsman.
Mm-hmm.
She like nods, and Dario's like, on it, boss, publicly kills Massador. And the last like Misa that like fades into silence and then into hissing. This is the first time in a while Daenerys' story is like truly compelling, I think. It's not that it's always been cool and it's always been fun to watch. She hasn't faced conflict like this in a while, though.
Yeah, she's just been winning the whole time, really.
Yeah.
Like, really, nothing has really stood in her way whatsoever.
Yeah, now her dragons are acting up. She can't rely on them as much. And then shit like this happens. She makes a few choices, and the people all of a sudden do not fuck with her anymore. I love that as soon as it happens too, one of the freed slaves is like, class war, and like picks up a rock and throws it at one of the former masters.
Yeah. Like, fuck
and all
this.
hell breaks loose.
We're not having it. Yeah, boom, just going to it. Yeah, and like I love in the wiki, like it shows like the deaths of everyone. It just says many great masters and many Meereenese. Ooh, I never thought.
Meereenese, yeah.
Meereenese. Okay, the Meereenese residents. Yeah, just many of them. No number.
Many died this day.
Just a many. Yeah.
And then Daenerys is just like kind of standing there watching all of it, and then she just like ducks the Unsullied, put the shields over her head, and they walk right out.
That was kind of sick. Yeah, like just the little escort that she had. The Unsullied just knew, like, they
were like, you got to leave. So, but later that night, Daenerys is like, everybody, leave me alone. Mistakes were made. Shit happens. Get the fuck out of here. But then she hears some thudding. Thum, 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 thum. Gets louder and louder, closer and closer, and to her relief, she looks up to find Drogon. Now, much larger than she'd previously seen.
Big boy.
And this is another thing where it's like he'll come home, he'll come home to check in. This is another thing that cues in that sort of connection between the dragon and the dragon rider.
Mama's in trouble.
Mama not happy. Gotta go check. Comes home. She's cool. He's like, dope. I gotta go again. Goes ahead and flies away. He's like, I'm gonna save our CGI budget. That's kind of.
And maybe it was like, they were all like, all right, Barristan and Grey Worm, like, yeah, we'll guard your room. Don't worry about it. Everyone's on guard tonight. And the Drogon is like, I actually got it. He's like, I'm just gonna make my presence known just to let everyone know, like, don't touch my mom. But yeah, he just kind of flies off. He's like, peace.
He's like, just want you to know, I'm here for you if you need it. Just feel like you have a general sense of turmoil, and I'll show up. But that is where the episode technically ended. But we are going to head to the Wall instead.
Yeah. Here we go.
Where at the Wall, Shireen, love Princess Shireen, man. She's the shit. She's teaching Gilly how to read. This is another one that was almost one of my favorite scenes. Gilly's learning how to read. She's reading an S. It looks like an animal. Snake, S. And Sam's like, did you know random fucking fact about thing forever ago? And Gilly looks up, looks at Shireen, goes, I know S. Which is a brilliant line, by the way. Love that. Sam, come on, buddy. Gotta know. Not the time. Not the time, not the place.
And you could tell that Sam's like been trying to teach her how to read too, but it's just like, no, you're
their
just,
styles don't mesh.
Oh yeah. He's like, well, I don't know, maybe if you weren't so focused on blah blah blah, or Lord Whoever, you and Lord Whoever got a lot to talk about, whatever. You go back to your book, Sam, they're starting just the little mini couples arguments already.
Yeah. He's like, I'm just saying that if you practiced more, then you know more words. And she's like, fuck you. And she's like, I'm gonna stick with Shireen. She's dope. She taught Davos how to read, and he's an old fart. And the conversation shifts to Sam's delight when Gilly asks about Shireen's grayscale and asks what it's called down south. And she tells her it's grayscale and what they call it. She asks what they call it north of the wall. And she goes, we didn't really have a word for it, but I had a couple sisters who were born like that, and we just kind of took them out to a shed, and then they started to sound different. And it was real bad. It sounded real bad. Didn't get to see it much, but, Craster took him out to the woods by rope.
Yeah. Eesh. They started making noises that weren't themselves. They started acting like animals.
This is a nice little, I didn't realize that they kind of tease, because we do see I can't remember what they're called, but the fully grayscaled out, stone men. We see the stone men later this season when they infect Jorah. When Jorah kidnaps Tyrion. And so this is a nice little like planting the seeds, like we're gonna see some people who've lost their fucking minds.
That's some freaky stuff. And then like Shireen like being cured, which is really cool. And they're like, she's like, I don't even know. And I think they don't even really know how to do it.
They don't know how they did it either, but we hear, and I'm happy. But then Queen Selyse enters and interrupts the proceedings and is like, everybody get the fuck out of here. And she's like, Shireen, don't hang out with wildlings. They fucking suck. And she's like, no, they don't. Gilly's cool. I love Gilly. She would never hurt me. And he's like, no, but you see, the wildlings don't like your dad. And they could use Gilly to harm Stannis through you. And Shireen's like, nah, it's just not how things are going to go, you know? Like, the wildlings, while they can be vindictive, I don't think they have any desire to affect the shit in the South. They do not give a fuck about Stannis Baratheon, you know? Like,
nope. Yeah.
Not one bit. They are so, like, Stannis' army is so, like, Stannis particularly is so convinced that he can bring the wildlings to their side, while the wildlings, they're not even fucking thinking about this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not even close to being like, well, Stannis, what are we going to do about that? That's not even on the fucking table, dog. Like, they're not thinking about that one bit.
Yeah, they're just mourning over Mance right now. Like, they're just like, we really lost, like, our guy. Like, that was our dude. Like, he really united all of us, and now he's gone. Like, they're all just, they're not thinking, like, oh, yeah, let's go south of the wall and fight Stannis' war for him that we know nothing about at all.
Bro, they don't give a fuck, dude. And I love that Jon points that out. You know, like, Stannis, you know, he's like, Jon, gotta talk to you, man. I sentence him to death by fire.
Yeah.
You put him out of his misery. What's that do to me? You know, what do I look like now? Do I look like a fool?
Davos, how I treat people who don't listen to me, you know, or whatever.
And Davos like waves with his four little nubs, like God
damn, I hate being used as an example all the time. You know, like that's probably what's in the back of the mind is Davos, like, man, are you really gonna say that? How often are you gonna say that? Said it at the Iron Bank, or maybe Davos even said it himself.
Davos brings it up himself on a lot of occasions.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's
Stannis then shows Jon a message. He's like, you familiar with Lyanna Mormont? And he's like, yeah, that was Gior's grandson, or granddaughter, I should say. And he's like, yeah, read this. Stannis had demanded that House Mormont pledge itself to Stannis' cause, and the note refuses, saying, Bear Island knows no king but the king in the north, whose name is Stark. And it brings a smile to Jon's face, and it makes me so happy to see Jon. Like, how long has it been since we watched him smile? You know, like, I think it's been since right before Ygritte's death, you know, whenever he, like, smiles at her right before she catches an arrow. And then how long before that was it that we saw him smile? You know, like, it's just, this dude doesn't smile much. So when he does, I'm very happy to see it. And Stannis is like, does this amuse you? And he's like, oh no, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. It's just, you know, it's my family. I love my family, dog. That's cool. And he's like, you know, the the Northerners can be a lot like the wildlings. They'll only follow their own, you know. They'll only follow a Stark. And realizing this is true, Stannis is like, exactly. Jon, if you kneel before me, pledge your sword to me, leave the Night's Watch, you will rise, legitimized as Jon Stark. Jon Stark,
yeah.
Jon Snark. Jon Stark, Lord of Winterfell.
Yeah, and his face there too. Like he's like, oh fuck.
Oh,
he was like,
fuck.
I did not expect that out of this. You know, he was brought in there.
I thought today was gonna go. You know,
he was brought in there as like, yeah, you shot Mance Rayder. You put him out of his misery. What the fuck, dude? And then it's like, yeah, actually, I'm gonna legitimize you, and then I'm gonna make you Warden of the North. So what do you think about that? And it's like,
an offer this dude certainly never thought he would get. You know, like Jon Snow never thought this was a possibility, and I'd kind of forgotten this happens. You know, because it's so. Jon sees no choice. Like he's like, what kind of Warden of the North would I be if I didn't stick to my vow? You know, like what a fucking man. Salute to you, my friend.
Yeah.
But he wants to rally the North and to Stannis' side, and Jon is like, this would be dope. But he has to turn him down when he admits to Sam later that he is a man of the Night's Watch. And
I mean, probably for real, on a real note, Jon probably gets the character for this episode.
Oh, dude, I'm spreading the love a little bit because Jon's probably going to dominate season 5. And season 6. And probably into season 7. You know, it might like season 8 is genuinely the only time from here on in where I'm like, I like Jon, but like that's not a strong season for him. It's just not. So
he'll get his flowers. He will get his flowers.
He will, to be sure. So I'm gonna give it to Barristan for now, but Jon, you're on your way, buddy. We then will move to my favorite scene, which is how I will recognize Jon for this episode.
Yeah, that's mine as well. I could like I was thinking of any other scene to try to spread it, and I'm like, man, this one was just too good. Like
the shit. The shit. And this is the first time in a while you felt that like it's not the King in the North moment, but it's close to it. It's like almost that level, but it's not that. You know, it's not that, but like when they're chanting Jon Snow, it's like fuck yes. But it's time. The choosing for the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, overseen by Maester Aemon. He's like, if anyone would please rise and choose your nominee.
Yeah.
And Janos Slynt stands up. He's like, Alistair Thorne. Dude's a dick, as you all know, but he's a man of the Night's Watch. He defended the wall against the wildlings and led us to victory. And everyone's like, hear, hear, yeah.
Yeah, did he really though? You know,
that's the point that is made here before
it's
long.
Like they all agree. They're like, yeah, he did because sure, whatever. But it's like, Sam had to let him know. That's for sure. But
another brother stands up and is like, here's some fucking guy that you've never met before.
Sad thing about this, I was reading the trivia. The guy who played the actor, he died 4 days after filming this.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they were just like, got to keep it in, and like they did some memorial for him, and they were like, now his watch is ended, like kind of like a nice Game of Thrones send off. But it's like, man, I mean, he did look pretty old. Like this,
the guy who plays Dennis Mallister here.
Yeah. Barely got any votes though, which was kind of sad. You know, it's like we got like I don't know, because the tie was between Jon and Slynt, right? Like
and Alistair, yeah.
Assuming Thorne, not Slynt. That was his hype man. Yeah, no, or whatever. But yeah, it was a little sad piece of trivia to read.
Yeah, that is sad. Well, R.I.P. Dennis Mallister, J.J. Murphy, as he was portrayed by.
Got his time in the show though. You know.
Yeah, they were like, he's the commander of the Shadow Tower. He has served on the Night's Watch longer than any man living.
For 4 winters or something like that. They said
10 winters. 10 winters. This man is old.
He's like, that dude's like 100 in Game of Thrones years.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Bro is reaching that age. But the vote is about to begin. Aemon stands up. He's like, well, this man will be. I love the voting method, by the way. I wish this is how we voted. Period.
Pretty sick.
Little squares, little triangles. Put them on a little pedestal. Put them in a little box, and then we'll put them on a little rod.
We'll break that shit. Yeah, it's like put them in this pot, and then we'll break the shit out of the pot
and destroy the pot. Yeah, I love it. I love the vibes. But as that's about to happen, Samwell's he's looking at Jon. He's like, oh God. I know that he'd be so much better than both of these guys. And then he's like, Maester Aemon, and Jon looks back. He's like, you motherfucker, don't you fucking do it, and Sam's like, well, you see, he's a really good guy. But before that, when Janos is like, oh, Sam the Slayer, look at this guy, loves to make love to wildlings like his best friend Jon. What's up, Sam? And he's like, oh, what's up, Janos?
I got some tea on
he's
you.
Like, oh, you want to talk shit, Janos? You got some balls talking shit, Janos. You know that I saw you hiding in the fucking underground with my lady and her child.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at that. Gilly, her son, and Janos in a puddle of his own making. And everyone's like, ha ha ha, fuck you, Janos, you suck.
While Janos was down there hiding with the women and children, our guy Jon Snow was the real one who held it down. He's like,
and I love the way he was like, in all respect to Alistair, he's like, Alistair certainly led until he was wounded, and he was hurt. He got to be taken away from the battlefield. And who led us after that? Who took command of the wall? Who fought down there? It was Jon Snow. And another thing that they could that I'm shocked he didn't mention is literally moments ago, this man told me that he was about to be legitimized in his family and become the Lord of Winterfell, the Warden of the North, and he decided to stay. That would have been the thing that would have made everyone go oh, well, this is the fucking guy then. You know what I'm saying?
That is interesting that he didn't mention that. Literally very fresh on the mind.
It could be a 50-50 thing, It could also be oh yeah, this guy grew up in a castle. He could, it could end up going the other way. But Alistair Thorne's a knight. He's Sir Alistair Thorne. Janos mentions that he's highborn. He's like,
I feel like it would have helped. Yeah, it would have helped his case more than anything.
But
it didn't need it. He didn't need it.
Yeah, he wins anyway. But he's like, Jon Snow is awesome, and I love the guy, and he deserves to be our Lord Commander. And Maester Aemon's like, yeah, he does. All right, everyone vote. He circles. And we see everybody vote, drop their little thing in the pot, and everything's totaled up, stacked on top of each other, and we've got an identical stack.
Yeah.
For
these coins must be made identically the same thickness for this to be a tie. I love how it's just they eyeball. They're like, yeah, that's a tie. Not even to make sure that Jon doesn't have actually one more or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
right. No, we know. This is how this works.
Yeah.
And I love that one of the guys Aemon's blind, so the guy has to be it's a tie, sir.
Yeah.
And Aemon's he feels, and he's like, yes, these are triangles. Not that one then. And I absolutely love that that's the way he went about it. He was like, let me feel for Alistair's. Definitely not that. I'm going with the other one. And everyone just goes fucking ballistic. They're like, yeah, Jon Snow. And again, the smile. Fucking love Kit Harington's smile. And, he didn't want this job necessarily. Yeah. He certainly didn't come in today thinking, you know what? I'm going to have the opportunity to either be Lord of Winterfell or Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Both of these things are going to be offered to me in the same day.
Yeah, he'll do both eventually.
What a fucking day. I guess not.
Is he true Warden of the North, or is he just King of the North for
He's King in the North for, from the end of season 7. Yeah. I think season 7. Season 6 finale, I think he's declared King in the North. And he's King in the North until season 8 finale.
Yeah. Wow. This was, I don't know. I loved just, it's just, I don't know. I wish that it'd be so cool if real elections could happen this way. I don't know. That'd be a lot of fucking tokens and shit. But just to be all in the same
basically
room.
What we do, we gotta count the paper. I guess not literally. They send it through a machine, but
again, that number could just be anything. Like they could just make up that shit. The number. Like how do we actually know they're counting? For real. I guess it is like every other. I don't know. I'm going into politics now. Let's go back to Game of Thrones politics here. It's way cooler.
No voter fraud here.
Yeah, that's just everyone. I mean, it's kind of like, why don't you just put your token on the rod right away? And I guess like to have some form of anonymity. I guess yeah, like no one can know who you voted. It's anonymous, I guess, that way.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you see the shape of the coin that they're putting in the pot. Whatever. Regardless, I don't think I'm thinking too much into it. But it was this was my scene for sure. After I watched it, I was like, I let out like I was chanting with them. Watching the show, and I'm like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, that's the shit, man. Makes me so very happy.
Would have been the 999th though. Would have, I don't know, like 998.
They couldn't make it that sexy, They had to be like,
one off. In 1,000, way too clean. 999, still too clean. Let's go 998. Yeah, that seems right.
998th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Who's I think it's Dolores Ed is the next Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Because whenever he's like he literally, whenever he goes, like, kills Alistair and the gang that killed him, he goes, now my watch is ended. Ed, you have the wall. Like, he just gives him the cloak. He's like, that's all you, bro. Hard. Love that.
And he's like, these people listen to me anyways. I'm just, it's just known. Who else is going to do it?
It's known.
I guess, like, who else at that time would even really go for that? I'm trying to think of like who else is
like
there.
Aemon. I think Aemon dies this season.
Yeah.
And he's a maester, so I don't think he can be Lord Commander.
Mm-hmm.
Like after Alistair's dead and Jon's gone, there's literally no one left like that's actually fit to lead the wall either. There's like 50 dudes anyway. Whenever that happens, it's just like a group of guys really that all hang out in the same place.
Do they get wiped out when the Night King comes down?
Yeah, they destroy the wall.
Yeah, for sure. But like, do they destroy it at Castle Black, or do they destroy it at like just some? Because he has a dragon, he's just like, fuck it, hole.
I can't remember if it's Eastwatch by the Sea or if it is Castle Black. I'm pretty sure it's Castle Black though, because Tormund is there. When that happens.
Okay.
And someone else is there with Tormund.
Does Ed live through it? Does he live through it? And like, is he? Because like, you still need.
Ed is he's alive all the way through the Long Night until they fight at the Battle of Winterfell.
So I guess
that's when he dies.
Do you really need? Well, probably. I'd say I don't know. The Night King. That's just one of the night. Maybe there's more. Who fucking knows?
Right.
Like I don't know how he seems like their whole army's gone, but like. I don't know. Maybe that's just like who the Night King resurrected himself. Maybe there's another one chilling like up way further north that we have no idea about.
Yeah, they made this up completely, so there's not even book knowledge for that. It's just like they're like, fuck it, just ice guy. We like it. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Send it. But this was a pretty strong episode. It'll be a fun one to rate enjoyment and critically. I think critically it'll fare a little better than it will enjoyment wise, because while it did have some moments that I really enjoyed, like Jon becoming Lord Commander. Season 5's off to a little bit of a crawling start, I would say. It's it takes another good step in the right direction, but it is kind of like, all right, where are we going with this?
I'd say I enjoyed it more than last episode, but
I think I do too. Not
like a whole lot more. Like we gave last episode an 8.5, so like I'm thinking like 8.75 or 8 or 9. Kind of there.
I think 8.75 is fair.
We're heating up. And
yeah, I mean, we'll get to a point where like I think we're in for at least 5 10 out of 10s on this season on enjoyment, and we're almost there. The whole back half of the season is ridiculous.
That's strong. The Walk of Shame. What's
Kill the Boy is really good
Dragon,
too.
Is that and the fighting pits and Daenerys takes off hard home. I mean, goddamn. No, that one. The Gift. I'm trying to think of that. What the Gift is. That's episode 7. but
I couldn't really tell you. No, we're in for a goodie though. We are
going to be good. Oh yeah. Let's see the gift
critically.
Anyway, Samwell loses his virginity with Gilly. Let's fuck it. Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10.
The
gift. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, critically, I think. I mean,
man, he still ain't hit that.
Visual, yeah. It takes a little bit. I guess
he's just being respectful. That's all.
Yeah. And technically, will go against his vows. Or he's just want to be a good Night's Watch brother. For a little bit. Until he can't hold it any longer. But I think, just visually, I don't know what they did, but man, it looks so much better. I really wonder what happened from episode 1 to 2.
It's really kind of bizarre to me that this had not only the same director but the same cinematographer. Like the fact that it's the same guy behind the camera is kind of wild to me, because this episode feels like it was miles better looking. I think it's a better story in this one. We are taking those steps in the right direction. I'm sitting in a place that's rather happy with this one. Like I'm thinking 9.25.
Yeah, no, I think I'm up there. I mean, I love all the transitions. I think we're perfect. I don't know, we didn't spend an overly long amount of time in any location. Nothing seemed to drag on super. I think it was paced really well,
really well edited. Yeah,
and my favorite transition of the episode was from Tyrion to Varys. She's gonna kill every dwarf in Westeros until she gets him here or whatever in the whole world, and then boom. Yeah, I just love the transitions they have. I think I'd like to 9.25 here. I think it.
All right, I'm cool with that.
From episode 1, I think it's not just that slight little bump. I think it deserves a little bit more.
I agree.
If we're there,
really well made. Really well made.
Yeah, it would average it out to a 91, a 9.08 technically.
91.
What IMDb gives this one. An 8.3 critically, I guess, here on IMDb. I wonder when we start getting into the 9s for this season. 8.4 next, 8.5, 8.5, 7.9. Whoa, okay, a little dip there. 8.8, The Gift. 9.8, Hard Home.
Is the 7.9 episode 6?
Yes.
That's the one where Ramsay gets married to Sansa. So there's not a lot of fun happening in that one.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense there. Hard Home's almost perfect at a 9.8. Dance of Dragons, 9.4. And then the finale is at a 9.1. So yeah, we're up in the 9s at the end of the season. The Ramsay stuff is just not fun there.
No, especially when Sansa gets involved, it gets really nasty. Yeah. Not a fun time to watch, but it'll be interesting to revisit it and see if they handled it right, because we've seen for several seasons now that they have not done a very good job with scenes like that.
No, they have not.
But beyond that, we've got some stuff to look forward to. I'm very excited that we're on to season 5. We've reached what I think is the peak of the show, and we're at the plateau. It was going up and up and up and up, and now we're just 4, 5, and 6 right here.
Yeah,
just all at the top. That shit rocks. But yeah, with that, I think we will conclude this episode of Winter is Blooming. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content. For $3 a month, you can support this podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it. Unless it's over there. Sorry about that. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening, and to continue downloading. This month is just washing other months. It feels like the pace that we're on.
Yeah.
It's growing real nice, and I'm really appreciative of it. And you got a lot to look forward to as we will continue Winter's Blooming next week with season 5, episode 3. We are continuing our top 100 favorite movies ever with part 5 this week. It'll be the 50s, 50 through 59. We've already done 60 through 100 in the first 4 parts. And it's nothing but movies we love, and it's been a great joy to talk through, and I'm so very happy with it. We're continuing our comic book movie journey through film on Fridays. Last Friday was X-Men The Last Stand, which was actually one of my favorite episodes we've recorded in the comic book movie journey through film, even though it's not my favorite movie. And then this Friday, we are continuing with Superman Returns. So a couple of not very well-reviewed movies in a row, but I'm excited to visit Superman Returns as it will be a rare first viewing in that project for me.
Me as well.
I'm so very excited to get to that. We're back to Superman for the first time in 6 months this Friday. It's been a long time since we've done any Superman, so I'm very, very excited with that. Remember to stand in solidarity with SAG-AFTRA and WGA in their struggle against the studios. You know, you might have beef with the way David Benioff and D.B. Weiss write this show, and I certainly do at points. But they worked hard, and they deserve to be paid for that. You know, that's, and so do all the actors. So do all the random people. You know how many extras are in Game of Thrones? You know how many people are just there that we'd never learn the name of? It's those people. It's those people who are trying.
Or however.
The Marinese,
and the mini masters that died. All those extras that were there. Damn. Yeah, that's a lot of people.
All those people. That's a lot of people. Those are the people who are on strike right now looking to get paid more. Don't go looking at fucking Tom Cruise and Margot Robbie just is about to make $50 million off of Barbie, which I'll say she deserves.
Woo. Yeah.
But everybody deserves to be paid, bruh. It's not about the people at the very, very top. It's about the people at the bottom of the call sheet who are not even credited with a name. You know, like they deserve to be paid. So we will continue to stand in support of them for as long as it happens. But yeah.
Sad it's still going on. But
God,
hopefully
man,
one day.
It's not difficult, I don't think. You would think that at some point it'll just get to be too much, I would think, for the studios. Like,
hopefully. Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the government's going to step in eventually or something. I don't know.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
Yeah.
They
probably don't care. Yeah.
It's in a bad way right now, but regardless, I hope shit resolves, and I hope that the writers and actors get what they want more than anything. I don't want them to settle. I want them to get what they're asking for. So with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And that's Jamie fucking Lannister.